Hi, folks. Trisha Curtis, CEO of Petronas and host of the Petronas podcast. Behind me, you are seeing the sign in Midland, Texas. It's the oil price sign in front of the bank, which I love coming to Midland because the first thing you see when you land is all the pump checks and all the production, and you know you're in oilfield country as you're looking out the window when you're landing in Midland, heart of oilfield country in America. But when you come here, downtown Midland, I'm in the Petroleum Club, and if you're looking out here at this bank, normally bank signs tell you what the temperature is and what the date is, and this bank sign tells you what the rig count is and what oil prices are doing and what natural gas prices are doing. So I've always loved that. But I am in the Midland Petroleum Club. I gave the keynote talk and lecture today at a Whitley Penn conference called Fueling the Future. I'll be in Fort Worth and Dallas and Houston later on in the fall. But with that, folks, there's so much happening in oil prices right now. So we had 63, we're 64 and change right now. And that is on the back of Trump making comments about Russia and Ukraine, that he's not happy with Russia continuing these strikes. Well, Russia is continuing these strikes. So if you're following the ongoing war with Russia or the ongoing war of Russia invading Ukraine, you will notice that the escalation has only continued to ramp up. So yes, Trump and Putin had a meeting in Alaska a couple weeks ago, but that really nothing has changed really since then. In fact, Russia's escalated their missile attacks and their drone strike attacks on Ukraine, and that is because they're looking to essentially freeze enemy lines where they're at. They want to keep those enemy lines in place, and they would like to actually say, hey, we'll do a ceasefire if we get the Donbass region, right? If we get the Donbass region and we freeze these enemy lines, then we'll do the ceasefire. And so that's what's taking place right now. And so they're looking to put chips on the table. They're looking to have all their cards put on the table so they can actually get a ceasefire. Now, clearly, the reason they want that ceasefire is so they don't actually have to. So eventually, they can settle, they can reinforce, and they can stabilize, and then they can go after further Ukrainian territory. So that's what's happening with oil prices. You can tell that they have been oversold. So the fact that we are going to $64 a barrel right now, they're still oversold given the massive geopolitical risk we have in the market, and also the fact that we have GDP that has swung back up. So we had a revision in GDP that is back up. The consumer is hanging in there. I'm not saying the economy is ripping, and I spent a lot of time during this keynote talk today talking about the economy, talking about federal funds, talking about interest rates, talking about inflation. The economy is not ripping, but we are not losing employment. We're not seeing employment drop off a cliff. People still have a job. It's just the fact that lower income consumers, or consumers actually between $50,000, $100,000, probably even $150,000, inflation has really eaten away at their budgets, and so their ability to spend or the ability to increase spending is limited. So with that, folks, there's a lot in the queue. The podcast that's going to drop this week, it's going to drop tomorrow. This is the long-awaited podcast with Matt Gallagher and Bud Brigham. This is a awesome fireside chat I did with Bud Brigham and Matt Gallagher in Austin, and this is a soup to nuts, everything happening in the economy. When we recorded this podcast, it was the end of May, and this was a keynote, or this was a speech that I gave in Austin. Oil prices are basically the same as they are now, and so a lot's changed since then, but actually a lot hasn't. And that's the reality, is that we have not seen the dust settle on terms of oil prices. We don't see a lot of conviction in the market, and we still have a very, very unique and muddled economy where we have lots of supply in the market, a really unique and hanging in their economy in the U.S. with obviously this revised GDP figure up, and then a very weak economy, a relatively weak economy, but still lots of stockpiling within China. So with that, folks, thank you guys so much for listening. I'll be in D.C. next week, and I'm sure to do a video there too. So talk to you soon, folks. Bye.